All right, here we go. This is mirror work. This is one of our self-regulation school skills. So our goal in this form of therapy is to develop self-love. And one of the ways that we can do that is we can speak love to ourselves. And mirror work is the skill that we're going to be learning today. So mirror work, you can do it at two different times. One time is on the daily basis. So looking in the mirror when you're walking by a mirror, when you're in the bathroom in the morning, at any point during the day, just telling yourself, I love you. You're enough. You're beautiful. You're handsome. We're going to have a great day. You have a beautiful light. Complimenting yourself, not attacking yourself. If you catch yourself attacking yourself, correcting yourself in the mirror can also help to make it more poignant that that's not how you want to speak to yourself. Okay. So on the everyday, just speak to yourself with love whenever you kind of see the mirror, starting your day, ending your day, whenever needed. Okay. And the other time that we can use mirror work is when we're struggling. So when you're struggling with your mental health, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling sad, lonely, depressed, anxious, and you feel like you got nobody you can talk to. Mirror work's a wonderful place. And even if you have people to talk to, you can still do mirror work. So the way I would recommend it is find, like, you want to be about this far away from the mirror. So it's not about your whole body. It's about actually making eye contact and looking into the mirror, into your eyes. If your eyes are bouncing, just pick one eye to focus on and look into your eyes. And if you are feeling emotional, if you're crying or you're sad, your brain will naturally create compassion for the sad face. So looking at your pain and start associating your pain that you're having, not with the world, not with what people have done or what somebody said, or that you lost your job or your car broke down, or that your kids don't listen, or that your parents don't listen, or whatever it might be, but rather that it's your perception. So your perception is causing the suffering without attacking yourself. So this is not to say, that you're bad or you're wrong because you're struggling, but it's really evidence that you're hurting and you're struggling with self-love and you deserve correction. You need correction. So anytime that we're hurting and we don't know what to do, we're struggling with self-love. We've misperceived. We perceive that we're not enough, we're not lovable, we're not worthy. We deserve love, compassion, gentle correction. So mirror work is a really good place to give yourself gentle correction. So it's reparenting yourself. So if you were struggling and say you just um say you were a kid and you yelled at your sibling and your parents would come and scold you, don't do that, don't talk to them that way. And then, as an adult, maybe you yell at your child or your spouse, and then you feel overwhelmed and you go to the mirror and you're gonna actually speak to yourself the way that a healed parent, a parent that had done the work that you're doing now, would be capable of responding to you. And what they would say is, wow, you must have been really hurting to act like that. You must have been really hurting to throw that plate across the room or to, do that action or raise your voice in that way, or shut down or not be able to communicate. You only deserve love. It makes sense that you have struggled the way that you do. This is conditioned in you. So reminding yourself too that you've learned these behaviors. You learned them in your childhood. Your parents probably struggled with their mental health because their parents struggled with their mental health and their parents struggled with their mental health. And we're all innocent. But it doesn't mean it's okay. So it's not okay that we yelled at our family members. It's not okay that our family members yelled at us, but at that time, that was your best, but your best can get better with love. So by speaking yourself in the mirror, giving yourself that gentle correction, giving yourself that love and the compassion. So say, I love you. I love you. I love you. You must have been really hurting to act like that or to do that action or to get drunk or to get high last night. Now you're feeling a lot of guilt. You're really struggling with this. But you don't deserve guilt. You deserve love and compassion. The compassion is to see that, like, you've been conditioned to be this way. This has been your pattern your whole life. You don't deserve attack for what is your best. But through love, we can gently correct ourselves and then say, okay, what do I want to create next time? And maybe that's doing the breath work. Maybe that's recentering. Maybe that's reminding yourself of the truth, that you are lovable, that you are worthy, and you are enough always. Now, so you're basically being your own therapist in the mirror, okay? We can start with sharing our emotions. So just like you'd go into a therapy session, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this happened and that happened. And my partner left me and the kids don't listen, or I'm getting old and my back doesn't work." Whatever it might be, tell yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself what's going on. Say, this is my story. This is where I'm struggling. This is where I'm suffering." And then take a deep breath. To hold it. Then breathe out. You do that 2 more times. And then that's how you're going to help yourself to cognitively shift into your wise mind, your higher consciousness, the voice of God, the voice that speaks only love to you. And that's where you're going to respond to yourself with love. And you're going to remind yourself of the truth. And that's your inner therapist. So that voice that speaks only love, you got to bring that forward and let them do the healing for you. Let that voice remind you that what that other person did that's really upsetting you right now, it wasn't about you. They were hurting and they didn't know what to do. What happened in your childhood when somebody did something that was less than loving, that was also a call for love. They were hurting, they didn't know what to do. We're not saying that the behavior was okay, but it was their best. And we can release ourselves and others in the mirror. And one of the barriers to mirror work is self-judgment. So one of the traps that we can fall into is judgment of the body. So instead of looking in the eyes and building compassion, it can create an experience where we just judge ourselves and look at our bodies and say, "Oh, our bodies should be different. Our bodies shouldn't be so old. Our bodies shouldn't be so young. Our bodies shouldn't be so big. Our bodies shouldn't be so small. Our bodies should have more muscle," whatever it is. Our body shouldn't be deformed. So it's resistance to what is, and identifying that the way the body is right now somehow makes you less lovable or less worthy. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to change the body. Sometimes the body's not healthy because we've been struggling with our self love. And that's why it is the way it is. So so non-resistance to things outside your control. So acceptance of things outside your control. So, well, yeah, you can't stop yourself from getting older. That's outside of your control, right? We can take good care of our body. We can try to eat well and, do things that are going to help us to like be healthier. But certain things are outside of our control. And within our control would be things like our diet, our exercise, how we care for the body. If your body's in a state where it's unhealthy because you've been struggling with your self-love, just like if you had behaviors that were unloving towards others because you're struggling with self-love, you still only deserve love and compassion. So whether you yell at somebody, you get high, or you overeat and have excess weight on your body, you are still enough. You are equally lovable to everybody else. There's no differentiation. I think I said that right. There's no difference between you and anybody else. And the way out of it is actually to say, "Okay, I can see that I have abused my body in the past, or I have been less than loving to my body in the past because I've been hurting, but as an act of love to you." So you say to yourself, "As an act of love to you, I'm going to stop abusing you. We're going to eat as an act of love. We're going to move as an act of love. We're going to not drink so much alcohol as an act of love, and not attacking yourself for what is your best." All right. So giving yourself love and compassion and gentle correction. So those are some of the ways that you can do self-therapy in the mirror. And the mirror is an incredibly effective and helpful tool to be using on a daily basis to reinforce the healed mind concepts that'll help you to change your life. And because we're looking at ourselves opposed to just saying them, it just helps you to remember them a little bit more. And again, the piece of if you're struggling, you can actually cultivate compassion by seeing your pain. So give it a try. Try some mirror work this week on the daily basis. And again, try to do some self-therapy in the mirror when you're struggling. And our goal is to shift to compassion, love, and then gentle correction. And the gentle correction is that all healed thoughts, all loving thoughts are true. And everything else is a call for help and healing. So if you've done anything that's not loving to yourself or others, that's because you're hurting and you don't know what to do. And you only deserve love.